Some parts of Africa continue to remain high. Research shows that in Ghana, the total fertility rate, that is the average number of children expected per woman over a lifetime, stands between 4 and 2. Women in Ghana continue to receive tremendous pressure to have children. Childbearing is the primary goal of marriage, and women are expected to begin having children shortly after they've married. Children provide emotional fulfillment and social status. As a result of the high value of children, the social consequences of infertility can be very severe. For example, infertile women often face considerable stigma, mental distress, and potential exposure to domestic violence. Gossip and social stigma can also arise. When members of the community see that a woman has not become pregnant after an expected period of time, rumors of infertility may begin. About 1 in 5 couples in Ghana have difficulty conceiving or carrying a pregnancy to term. Research has shown that women often report feeling that their relationships are at risk due to their infertility. The considerable pressure women are under to have children is cited as a key reason. We also found out that a woman's ability to conceive has a powerful effect on whether the relationship with her partner will survive. Today on the Late Afternoon Show, we delve into issues surrounding childbirth and the difficulties women go through. Stay tuned.
And that's just a bit of information about our topic of discussion for today. I'm going straight to Kafui Danku, who's been married for how many years so far?
I think this is the 8th year.
7th
year in marriage.
Okay. And how long did it take to have babies?
5 years.
5 years. Why? What was the problem?
Because I had challenges. I had stillbirths, I had miscarriages.
How many stillbirths?
1 stillbirth.
Okay. When they say stillbirth, I just want to throw in the doctor here because I want to really understand what that is.
When we talk about stillbirth, we're really talking about a baby that's been born dead.
So that means you go through the entire 9 months?
Sometimes you go through,
okay.
Other times you don't, because we have a standard definition of something called miscarriage, where you lose the baby before the age of viability. In Western context, the age of viability is about 22, 24 weeks of pregnancy. In Ghana, because of social and facility construct, we're probably looking at 28 weeks as the cutoff. So babies between 24 to 28 in Ghana will be considered as miscarriages, unfortunately, because of lack of the things you need to be able to preserve these babies alive. So for Ghana, any baby born not alive or dead will be a stillborn from 28 weeks.
Okay, so I believe that you went beyond 28 weeks.
I was 28 weeks exactly.
28 weeks. How did it happen?
I just felt the baby move for a very long time, like it was really rough.
Okay.
I couldn't even keep my dress on my tummy. It was feeling really funny, so I lifted my dress like this. It was unexpected. It was sudden.
What were you doing
28.
when it started?
I was Skyping with my friend.
Okay.
I was actually showing her my belly. That, oh, Chai, take a look, you know. And then she was in New York. I was in Club, and then I went to the washroom to pee, and then I saw some show, what we call the show. I didn't want to believe it was anything serious. Came back to sit down, and then I felt funny again.
Okay.
I got up and I felt the movement.
Okay.
It was like really rigorous, like it kept going on, and I was screaming and emergency to the hospital, and then I passed out, and I woke up to realize the baby was dead. But then he was dressed as if he was alive, you know.
What, they put the baby by you?
No, they dressed him like when you give birth, how they wear the cap and everything, and it was like, everybody was standing by me. There were a lot of people. So I woke up and I knew there was something wrong.
Okay.
I didn't want to believe that I was alive. I'm like, okay, am I alive? Why are these people here? What do they want? You know what happened? I remember the pain. It was for a short while, but it was really painful. Like I was screaming, my mom and all that. And then I'm like, okay, where's the baby? And then they handed him over to me and all that. Everybody still kept looking. They didn't know how to tell me.
So even at that point, you had not been officially told that your baby
was dead. Because I went in there, all I could remember was, my name is so and so, I'm an anesthesiologist or whatever they call them. I'm going to take care of you. And then that was it. That was the last thing I remembered. And then I passed out.
Was this the first time?
That was the first time having a baby, ever.
Did you ever think it could happen to you? Did you even know about it?
You see why, one of the reasons why I'm talking about it, like so people can know that it could be anybody else. Of course, I've heard about miscarriages. You'll just hear it. When something doesn't happen to you, you've not experienced it, you won't take it seriously. We just say, oh, okay, it's hard, and that's it. But here I am experiencing it.
How did you react to it when you found out that?
You know, initially, like I said, I thought I was dead myself. I didn't know, because I felt some serious pain. I thought I was going to die. So when I look at the baby, I said, am I really alive? Okay, the baby is dead. This is really real. And then later, my daughter came in, and I wasn't crying. Nobody could believe that I wasn't crying, because baby.
Were you in shock? Is that why you probably
I didn't know, and then it took me hours.
Yeah.
And then, when you have a baby at the hospital, when they put something in front of your rooms, so when the baby is there, they pass by to say hello to you.
Okay.
They put a baby in a cloud on your door.
Oh.
So other women were coming in to say hello. I'm like, this is really real. You know, they asked for them question or whatever. They want to pray for the baby. They came, and I'm like, so this is like really real.
Wow.
And then they have these photographers who take pictures of the baby with your rings and other things. So I'm like, this is real. So when the day they came to take the photo, like later in the evening, that was when I cried. Like I knew that the baby was really dead. I had to inspect him to be sure every part was formed. Maybe it was not because something was not formed, but I was checking. And yeah, and I had to just...
Now, before I even bring in Catherine, let me ask again, because that wasn't the only time you experienced something like this whilst trying to have a baby.
That was the first time.
That was the first time, but it wasn't the only time. After you had...
after that, of course. After that was the stillbirth was the first one.
Yeah.
And then after that, I miscarried like 3 times.
3 times?
Yes.
3 times?
Yes, I miscarried like 3 times.
How are you still strong and smiling now? This is amazing. 3 miscarriages.
I've learned to be thankful for life. Because, well, I believe that if I'm alive, maybe there'll be another chance.
Okay.
Or maybe a better day will come. But if I want to die because I've lost something, I'm sure somebody has lost more than you have. Maybe it's a learning curve. Maybe it's a strength building curve or something. Yeah. So I just thank God for life and good health.
Wow. Well, we'll also have an interview with Oheneyere Gifty Auntie, who will tell her story as well, for those of you who don't know anything about him. Whitney Boache Mensa, pardon me. But let me just ask Doctor, what would lead to something like this? Continuous miscarriages and stillbirth.
Yeah, unfortunately, these things happen. You're probably looking at roughly 15% of women having some form of miscarriage, which never comes to the attention of anybody. But I'm sure when you speak to women, they may know somebody who's lost a baby.
Yeah.
Because even though we talk about miscarriages as pregnancies that end up being lost before 24 weeks of gestation, it's still a baby at the end of the day. So it's still a painful experience. Most of the time, you really can't find a reason for it. Some miscarriages may be related to some chromosome abnormalities or literal fetal abnormalities, like the heart not well formed or the brain or something of that nature. Infections too can sometimes be at the bottom, but those are in the minority. The category is very small. And other times you may have uterine abnormalities. The house that keeps the baby may be abnormal and therefore can't keep a baby in.
When you say abnormal, what exactly is
abnormalities? May be you may have a thick band of tissue inside the womb. We call it a septum. Other times the heart may be the uterus may be heart-shaped, literally like a heart-shaped uterus.
So when it's heart-shaped,
when it's heart-shaped, it makes it a bit difficult to actually keep a pregnancy. You have a higher risk of miscarrying. And then even having premature. No, not for the heart shape, but the septum, you may be able to do something by cutting it out, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee, but it's at least one step forward toward achieving that goal.
When you have a heart-shaped uterus, that means you might never be able to have a baby.
Oh, I wouldn't say never.
Might. That's why I said might.
The reason I say it is because we still get some women who have a heart-shaped baby, and the baby gets housed in one of the horns. You can imagine like a heart.
Okay.
So in one horn of it, the baby just lodges there. But those women are either they have miscarriages or premature deliveries.
Okay.
Rarely do they end up, getting to full term. So those could be some of the reasons why. But over 50% of the time, some sort of chromosome problems that you can't sort of figure out by the normal way with testings. Yeah.
Catherine, let me bring you in because you are a counselor, and I'm sure you've interacted with a lot of women, probably women who have told you stories about how they, lost their babies or have been struggling to have babies and all that. Usually when they come to you, what is a story like? Is it because of their lifestyle, or is it, basically like Doc said, could be a medical history as well?
It depends on the individual. There are various factors.
Yeah.
But it's a part of life.
Yeah.
It's traumatizing. Some may want to blame it. Some people may have had a rough start as young people, and so they blame the circumstances on their rough life.
Okay. Rough life, abortion, do you mean?
May not necessarily be just abortion. There are some people who may have tried a few things apart from just aborting. Some medications and all of those, even without the abortion. And so it's very easy for such people to think it's because of what they did prior to marriage that they're probably going through whatever challenges they are going through. And there are some other people who never did anything wrong. Life has a lot of twists.
Yeah.
There are some people who probably even married as virgins. It's interesting when she called me this afternoon and met me to know I was going to be on this show. And I remembered I just had a conversation with a friend, a childhood friend, who has been married for 28 years this year with no child.
What?
Yeah, 28 years. We were talking on Saturday. There are some who probably because of some mistakes, they may have to. There are some that, like Doc said, it's medically prone to be something that will challenge their childbearing, And this, my friend, was like that. And she said, I knew I had a challenge because right from my teenage years and all that, my period was never really how do you say it now? Regular, yes, it wasn't regular. There are sometimes the flow would take 3 months. There were other times it wouldn't just come. And the mother was a nurse.
Okay.
So they tried everything to correct it, but she never really knew it was going to play out in such a way that she would not be able to have any child. And so it was very traumatic for her because she wasn't rough. She wasn't wild. Just some medical conditions that had brought this to her. And how do you deal with this when society is putting pressure and you too, you want to be a mother and all that?
Yeah.
And so I come across people who, by reason of the delay, some outright barrenness, have lost the flavor of life.
True.
They have lost the flavor of life. Whatever may be the case, there's no belaboring the issue, whether it's because of what you did in the past or in the future. The truth of the matter is that it's very challenging to be a married woman with no child. Let's settle that.
Exactly.
To be a married woman, it takes maturity to handle the heat, the pressure, the anxiety. It takes a lot. And I see people, when they come to me, what I tell them is, don't allow the devil take you on a journey of no return. And that's trying to analyze everything that happened in the past. Let's see what can be done. Does it have to... do we have to introduce medical attention here? Have you done all the medical tests and all that? If you've done all that you need to do medically and the situation still persists, hold on to God if you're a Christian.
Okay.
There is nothing he cannot do. But you see, the danger in any woman thinking that anxiety will bring about pregnancy, how do I put it now? The danger is any woman thinking that being anxious will bring about pregnancy. Interestingly, anxiety slows down.
Okay.
The ability to even conceive.
Ooh.
I know there's a medical doctor here who may also probably bring the medical science. Yes, but I know that our body wasn't really meant to handle stress. And so when you allow stress to set in because of temporary delays, you actually slow down the pace. Okay. So quite a number come around. Yeah. But like I would say to every person that has ever crossed my path, who has a delay, whether 2 years, some 3, 5, 20, 30, I will tell them, hold on. I have 2 friends that something happened 2 years ago. 2 of them were married for 25 years with no children.
Okay.
Like I always advise friends, people, my members and people who come to me for counseling, I say, if possible, if the pressure is too much, I know the African culture and the African system doesn't really accommodate much of adoption, but I still believe it's a better option. If you have delayed for so long having a child,
adopt.
There are too many children out there looking for somebody to just love them. Go pick one. And these two families, each of them picked children through adoption. Each of them had a girl they picked from 2 months old. 2 years into the adopted children's existence in their lives, they both got pregnant.
Wow.
Naturally.
That's beautiful.
Minimum of 25 years of marriage.
Exactly.
They both got pregnant and they were blessed with twins, boys and girl, the two of the couples.
That's nice. Doc, let me bring you in because she mentioned earlier, and I wanted to find out if it was medically proven that when you allow anxiety to take over, it slows down the process of having a baby.
Yeah, it's definitely the experience that those who are hyper anxious about wanting to fall pregnant, things tend to delay. One possibility maybe stress can affect ovulation.
Okay.
So maybe that could be the mechanism, but I don't think we know the exact mechanism. But it's definitely the experience that the more stressed you are about it, then it takes longer for things to happen.
Okay.
So sometimes we just have to send people off, to go on holidays, and they go on holiday, boom,
and it happens.
It happens.
I had a friend who even said when the doctor gave her, I don't know if it was vitamins or something, and it just happened, and she got pregnant, and she was wondering how was she married for so many years and didn't have a baby. Well, we'll take a look at an interview we had with Oheneyere Gifty Auntie, who revealed that she had 5 fibroid operations, and then the final one, she was asked to either have a baby before undergoing the surgery or risk not being a mother ever in her life. Take a look at this.
Anybody who follows me knows that I've always loved children. I've always loved to have a child. My greatest regret is that my father didn't live to see me have a child before he passed on. But I wasn't married, and I had too many pastors in my life, so I can't just go out there to say that. Not that if it had happened, I'd have said no. I would have loved it. But I'm glad it happened whilst, I'm married. But I had gotten to, at the time I got married, I'd given up, sort of, I thought 45 years and I'd had fibroid surgeries here and there. So I didn't give it much thought. I didn't think it will happen. But one day, I think barely 6 months after I got married, I had another fibroid surgery. And as I was coming out, I heard my doctor say that, this woman, the way I've struggled to get this fibroid out, if she doesn't know it, she doesn't try to have a child, she'll see what I'll do, to her. So I came out and I was like, Doc, I heard what you said. He said, yeah, your womb is fine, let's try. So went through treatment, and by the grace of God, 24th December, I'll never forget. 24th December 2016, it started with a very bad flu. I went to check and then it was positive, I was pregnant. It was a struggle. First, in fact, I had the struggle throughout the pregnancy. I wasn't really sick, but all the weaknesses, the vomiting, the spitting, whatever, I went through it. But by the grace of God, I wasn't I was never hospitalized. It was just one day that I was detained at the hospital. It was getting close to my delivery time, so it was, I was anxious at my age and somebody who didn't expect, and then it happened and I'm so excited about it. I was very anxious. The least, sound or the least disturbance, and then I'm panicking, what is happening? Is everything okay? I call my doctor afternoon, every little thing I'm calling my doctor. So I must say I carry the pregnancy through with a lot of anxiety. I prayed a lot. I prayed like crazy. I applied faith to it as well. And then the D-Day came. I went through cesarean. My husband was there, my doctor and everything. By the grace of God, the baby came out. I didn't know what to do. I think I actually cried after the morning after my surgery. I just looking at my baby and I like, it's me. Like, I have a child, you know. I can't. That's when she started breastfeeding. And I was telling my husband, look, I'm breastfeeding. He said, yes, it's good, isn't it? That's what you wanted. I said, no, you don't understand. I'm breastfeeding. It took him a long time. And I said, no, it means I have a child. I'm breastfeeding. And he got it and said, oh, yes, I understand. And he has children already. So though he's excited, he was excited because it is Ahenkai, his first child after, he became a chief. He wasn't that much, gaga, goo goo gaga like I was, because he's been through it and all that. I was told that I have a foundation, the Girl in Need Foundation. I was told that I'm doing that because I don't have a child. I can't have a child. That's why I'm taking care of other people's children. And I think that my other people's children will come and look after me, or when I grow old, I'll get someone to send. People were said I can't get a man to marry me. I mean, all sort of things. People were told not to look up to me, not to make me their role model. In fact, somebody was told that I have a bad aura, so she shouldn't refer to me as her role model because I wasn't married, I didn't have a child. So it's a spirit and it will transfer to her. This was told to her by a pastor, a well-known pastor that I thought I respected, But life happens, life goes on. I'm not saying that I'm super strong. No, there are times I cried. I still sometimes hear some of the things, it breaks me. But the next morning I dust up and I'm ready to go. All over the world. Now there's technology. I believe in God. Listen, I have super crazy faith in God. But I believe that God has also given knowledge to doctors, to health professionals. Seek help and add prayer to it. My baby, I went to treatment. My baby is a miracle. My doctor will tell you, gifted child is a miracle. How it happened, and when we least expected it. I went through the pregnancy, how the baby was born, and everything. I mean, how she's growing. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. So please seek help. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. Pray, fast, do whatever you have to do, but seek professional help.